Good morning, viewers. I welcome you all to your own favorite channel, KP Slit Charts. This is Kamala Prasad Mahapatra, who is welcoming you to your favorite channel. Today we will take up a new subject, not exactly a new subject, but a continuation of the previous video where we had discussed the elements, the characteristic features of Russian formalism and new criticism. There I have already discussed what is formalism, which emerged in Russia, evolved in Russia, and the pioneer of formalism was the literary critic Viktor Slavsky. He emphasized that a critic, while appreciating, analyzing literature or literary text, should put emphasis on the structural aspect, the form, not the content. The form covers areas like style, structure, language. In the language, the simile, metaphor, paradox, images, figures of speech, all these things used to come. Intentional fallacy, affective fallacy, all these things used to come. But a critic should never be carried away by the content. Content will of course be there, but more emphasis will be on the form. And the formalists also believed that a literary text is a self-contained aesthetic unity. It has an autotelic entity. It is autonomous. It is not subservient to the writer. Once the text is created, the writer is dead. Later on, the literary critic named Roland Barthes brought out a mind-blowing article, mind-blowing essay, which created ripples in the literary parlance. The name of the essay is The Death of the Author, which was published in the year 1967. There, Roland Barthes suggested that once the literary text is created, the author is dead. Author has no place. Author doesn't come to picture. And the reader or the critic, when they are appreciating the text, they should forget about the author. They should only concentrate on the text. What is the texture of the text? What is the structure of the text? What is the content of the text? What all symbols are used? What all images are used? If he is appreciating a drama, a play, he should concentrate more on the language, the plot structure. Say for example, while appreciating a play of William Shakespeare, what do? You put your thrust on the language. Say for example, in a play like Hamlet, when he says to be or not to be, that is the question. What does it indicate? It indicates the wavering attitude of the hero or the protagonist. The protagonist is not able to decide what to do and what not to do. What is supposed to be done, what is not supposed to be done. What is ethical, what is unethical. Because Prince Hamlet is a much revered, much respected, much beloved figure in Denmark. He is worshipped as a demigod like his father in Denmark. So he thought that whatever action he does, it should be appreciated, approved, recognized by the people of Denmark. Because people of Denmark used to love him very much, respect him very much, recognize him very much. He is a very modest, sober, suave, wise, intelligent, considerate, judicious, sagacious, kind-hearted, merciful, generous, magnanimous prince. And he is not like Othello. And he also said, what can I do? Time is out of joint, O cost, spite that ever I was born to set it right. Hamlet himself said. And it is said, Hamlet is the direct, replica of Shakespeare. Because Shakespeare had a son called Hamnet, Hamnet, who died very young. after which he thought of writing Hamlet. But you are not to be bothered about Shakespeare. That Shakespeare was born at Stratford-on-Avon, that he was not very much educated, that he came to learn drama writing from street plays of university wits. This is to be ignored totally according to formalism. Formalism outlined the necessity of emphasizing on putting the thrust on the form, the structure, the style, the language, the images, the allegory, paradox, all those things which are incorporated in the play, if it is a play, are to be discussed. Similarly, a poem. In a poem, you are not supposed to bother about the intention of the writer. That's why intentional fallacy occurs in formalism. The reader is not supposed to consider the intent, the purpose of the writer. He is also not supposed to fall a victim to affective fallacy. The reader or critic is not supposed to look into the emotion of the writer involved while writing the text. What they are supposed to do, they are very clear about it, is their main area of concentration is the structure, style, language, images, symbols, metaphors, similes, paradox, allegory, etc. What is the language that is being used? And what is the implication of the language? What is the significance of the language? Hamlet said, when Claudius was praying to God, Hamlet happened to pass by that way. He could have killed Claudius there, but he didn't do it. He said, if I kill him now, his soul will directly reach heaven. His soul will be salvaged. And should I indulge in an action to send the enemy or the murderer of my father to heaven? So he restrained from killing Claudius over there. And about the action of the Gertrude, he was very unhappy, because by the time he came from Wittenberg, he found two celebrations are there simultaneously, vis-a-vis marriage, vis-a-vis funeral, nuptial, vis-a-vis funeral. He was stormed, he was surprised, and he smelled fish behind the whole gimmick. What is this? It is said, my father is stung by a venomous serpent in the orchard and he died. I can't believe it. This is something suspicious. So suspicion arose in his mind, and while talking to Gertrude, he also began to accuse and blame Gertrude. What did you do? He never addressed Gertrude as mother. He said, dear queen, what did you do? Can you draw a comparison between King Hamlet, my father, and my uncle Claudius? They are hell and heaven different. There is hell and heaven difference between them. If one is hell, the other is heaven. How respectable figure is King Hamlet, and how heinous figure, atrocious figure, notorious figure is Claudius. How did you marry him? And you married a person who is accused of triple crimes: incest, murder, usurpation. So such a person you are marrying. Then he was disgusted with the women race, and he said, frailty, thy name is woman. Look at the language. So the formalist school of critics, they believed that language is important, plot is important, character is important in a play. In poetry, the literary devices are important, style is important, structure is important, language is important, images are important, their description is important. So, content is on the one side, form is given more importance by the formalist school of critics. On the other side, Formalist school of criticism emerged in Russia in the early part of 19th century, and later on in the middle part of 19th century emerged another school of criticism in England and America, which is known as New Criticism. This was also equally in the line of formalist school. They had some similarities with formalist school. You may say that after formalist school evolved New Criticism, the school of New Criticism. Formalist school of criticism evolved in Russia, and New Criticism evolved in America and England. And the pioneers of New Criticism were three legendary figures: F.R. Lewis, I.A. Richards, and T.S. Eliot. So Lewis, Richards, and Eliot, they believe that text is autotelic, text is autonomous, text is a self-contained autonomous aesthetic unit where author has nothing to do. After the text is created, author's role is over. Author is to be sidelined. And they also suggested that close reading of the text is important in New Criticism. What are you supposed to read? You have to take into account the images. Say for example, Eliot's Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, where he says, "Let's go then you and I, when the evening is spread against the sky like a patient etherized on a table." Look at the image pattern. When this image pattern is there, described, delineated, outlined, the reader's job or the critic's job is to find out the symbolic significance of the images. The use of objective correlative should be noticed. Let's go then you and I, when the evening is spread against the sky. How? Like whom? As a patient gets etherized and stands motionless, quiet on a table. Similarly, the evening is calm, quiet, serene, placid, tranquil, and it creates a different kind of thrill and excitement in our hearts. So the neo-critics, they suggested, similarly, they also followed Roland Barthes' views. Author is dead after the text is created. They also contributed to the writing of Death of the Author essay by Roland Barthes in 1967, and they never bothered about the form. They also bothered about content. But try to find out the difference between formalist school of criticism and New Criticism. Formalist school of criticism only believed in the form, only put emphasis on the form, but New Critics put the emphasis on form as well as content. There are two things: form and content, theme and technique. While formalist school gave more emphasis on theme and formalist school gave more emphasis on technique or form and less emphasis on content or theme, the New Critics put more emphasis on theme as well as technique. So New Criticism covered both the areas, form and content. They put equal emphasis on form as well as content, whereas formalist school of critics, they put more emphasis on form, less emphasis on content. But New Critics gave equal emphasis on form and content. So more or less the attitude, the outlook, the thrust of both the school of criticism, formalist school of criticism and New Criticism, are almost identical. Rather, you may say the New Criticism evolved after the Russian formalism evolved in Russia by Viktor Shklovsky. Viktor Shklovsky is the pioneer of formalist school of criticism, and F.R. Lewis, I.A. Richards and T.S. Eliot are the pioneers of new criticism, which evolved in America and England. So new criticism gave a new dimension to the entire domain of literary criticism, and it started predominating the fray. While the critic began to appreciate a text, they adhered to new criticism, rules of new criticism, tenets of new criticism. When the reader wanted to appreciate a text, analyze a text, assimilate a text, they also began to adhere to new criticism. So new criticism became extremely popular, and till such time another school emerged to counter or to oppose the views of new critics. And after new criticism, there came structuralism. Structuralism emerged after new criticism, and the pioneer of structuralism was Swiss linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. So today we will stop here. I would request you to like, share and subscribe to your channel KP's Lit Charts. I will be coming regularly with you. I will be discussing new areas on literary criticism. But today we will stop it here. Thank you very much. Jai Jagannath. Namaskar.